Hey, this is JA, or you can call me James, bringing you some gun stats for one of the new weapons that comes in the Onslaught DLC. Of course, we're going to be looking at the Maverick, the AR version. So I've got the stats up on the top left-hand side. I also included the stats for two of the best, in my opinion, two of the best ARs in the game, namely the Honey Badger and the AK-12, because I thought it'd be really good to just see how the Maverick compares to these two weapons. So let's take a look at this. All right, both of them, or all three of them, start out with 30 rounds in a magazine, so no advantages there. Look at the max damage though. You can see that the Maverick is very interesting. It does 50 damage per bullet. That means if you're playing core game modes and a person has 100 health, it only takes 2 bullets to take somebody out. Unlike the AK-12, the AK-12 is always going to take 3 bullets unless you hit them in the head. You know, there is that headshot multiplier. But the Honey Badger is a little bit lower at 42 rounds. So, you know, the Maverick seems to have a little bit advantage when it comes to damage. Now, the min damage, that is the damage that this weapon or each bullet is going to do at its furthest range. You know, it's never going to drop below that amount. Now, it's interesting when you look at these because the AK-12 drops down to 25 damage. So at its furthest range, it's going to kill people with 4 rounds, you know, barring a headshot multiplier or anything like that. But the Maverick at its furthest range is going to take 5 bullets because obviously 4 times 24, you're only looking at 96 damage. So it's going to take 5 rounds just like the Honey Badger at its furthest range. So that's interesting. Also notice the Maverick has a 1.5 headshot multiplier compared to the AK-12 and the Honey Badger. It's something else that's interesting about the Maverick is if you shoot somebody in a limb, it has a 0.95 multiplier that is attached to that. So if you shoot somebody up close at its max damage, it's not going to be doing 50 damage. If you shoot them in the arm or something like that, it's only going to be doing 95% of that. Now, if you look at the rounds per minute, that is how fast the gun is firing. You can see that the Honey Badger is a clear favorite when it comes to this. It's shooting 800 rounds per minute, and then the AK-12 shoots at 689. So the Maverick actually has the second slowest fire rate. I think only the R5 is slower, and it's only just a little bit slower. So, you know, this is a slower firing weapon. Now, the range that the damage starts to drop, this is really critical. Look at that. The Maverick, it starts to drop from that 50 damage at 256 units. Now, how far is 256 units? Check out this chart. All right, this is the map strike zone. Now, I want you to focus on the middle of that. The middle of that, where that 500 unit is, that is the pro shop. So the pro shop is about 900 units long. So that means that this gun is only going to be doing its max damage for about a quarter of the length of the pro shop. So we're basically talking almost melee range. Now, you can do some things to augment that. Obviously, if you put on a muzzle brake, that's going to give you an extra 20%. But if you think about that, you know, 256 units plus 20%, you're only looking at about 300 units. So it's really not going to help all that much. Plus, if you put a silencer on this weapon, you're looking at taking that 256 to below 200 units. So really close. That is probably melee range. So that's really interesting with this weapon. Now, if you look at the range drop-off ending number, that 2100, 256 to 2100, that is quite the bit of range, so it's going to be a very gradual drop-off, unlike these other weapons that kind of, the damage drops off a little bit faster. So that is one nice thing about this weapon. In fact, if you look at hardcore numbers, you're going to be doing 30 damage up to 1675 units. So it's going to be a one-shot kill in hardcore for quite a bit of difference. But you can see the 2-hit, the 3-hit, and the 4-hit numbers. Those numbers are the distances that it takes that amount of bullets to take somebody out. So, you know, 256 units with 2 bullets, that's going to take somebody out. When you jump up to 3-hit range, though, you can do that all the way up to 1390, and 4-hit all the way up to 2029. Now, the AK-12, though, at any range is going to take somebody out with 4 hits, where it's going to take, you know, 5 bullets after that 2029 units to take somebody out with the Maverick. So this gun seems to do better up close, but at the same time, it's firing really slow compared to the Honey Badger. So, you know, I don't really think this gun is the best thing to be using when you're playing core game modes. I think the Honey Badger or the AK-12, you're going to get a lot better use, or maybe the FAD or the R5, you know, so it's very in the middle. In hardcore, though, this is a little bit better, you know, since it has that long range. So not too bad when it comes to hardcore, but still not a great gun in my opinion. But let me know what you guys think about this weapon. Obviously, stats only tell part of the story. The way a gun feels is a big indicator of that. So let me know if this gun's working well in certain areas or lacking in certain areas for you. Let me know too what attachments you're running with it. Normally, I am a suppressor silencer type of guy, but I think in this case with this weapon, I'd probably think about adding a muzzle brake just to give it a little bit more range, though you're not going to get that big of an improvement. Also too, I'd recommend running a grip with it. I think the iron sights are great on this weapon. You know, I have no problem following somebody, but let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, I would really appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up. You guys don't understand how important that is. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know what I can do to improve these types of videos. As always though, take care and God bless.